Look, we all understand that Jones and I essentially are extraneous around the studio, and we know that, but they're nice enough to let us hang around.
That's correct.
But there's honestly never been a time where we're more unnecessary than right now, when our guest today, Deja Kelly, is perfectly capable of hosting this entire show and doesn't need us at all. So we're gonna sit here and mostly just let Deja cook. Deja, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here.
Now, you've got experience in this studio. You know what's going on here. Tell us a little bit about your background with this type of stuff.
Yeah, so I am majoring in broadcast journalism. That's kind of been a dream of mine for a few years now. But I just made a lot of connections, just throughout basketball. They brought a lot of those opportunities. But just meeting people in the industry and, just watching on TV, watching post-game, pre-game interviews, sidelines, commentators. I haven't exactly decided which field I want to go as far as, whether it's sideline, commentating analysts. But yeah, that's something I'm pretty interested in. I love the camera. I love being in front of the camera. So hopefully I'll take y'all's jobs pretty soon.
Oh, well, that's not true. That's not going to be tough. It's not going to be hard. What do you like about it? Like, what interests you about it?
I think just being able to, talk sports. I've grown up around sports, basketball, obviously, but just, watching, how these reporters and analysts are able to break down, basketball, football, and I'm going to expand to different sports, but just being able to talk about something that really interests me and something that I really like doing, kind of that I already do now. I'm a coach's kid, so I'm already pretty analytical when it comes to sports. So I think that's just something that I've grown to like, and like I said, I like being in front of the camera. So I feel like it goes together.
Now, you're one of the few that's been on both sides of an interview. You have been interviewed and you have done the interview. Yes. So what makes a good interview?
Not questions like that. That's it.
Yeah, see, exactly, questions like that where you have to sit there and think. I think just, how an interviewer being able to ask questions that, one, haven't been asked before, and just really trying to get deeper into who they're interviewing and really just kind of, I think from good interviews that I've watched, really getting them to kind of come out of their shell and be emotional and kind of tell you a little bit more than what they've told maybe said in other interviews. I think that kind of makes it special. So I'm trying to learn how to do that instead of just asking more of like the broad, general questions, just trying to get, deeper into what I want to know.
So we're going to have Deja's going to be crying by the end of this interview. That's what she said. We will have done our job. No, let's talk a little basketball. You guys are playing really well. Had the stretch right there around the holidays where I know things didn't go as well as you guys wanted. What in your mind has been important these last 3 or 4 games for some improved play?
Yeah, I think, just as a team, we kind of talked about, just really buying into our own roles individually and then, bringing that together collectively. I think that's something that we were kind of lacking in that losing streak that we had. It was we were kind of just out there, and it wasn't really, everyone was really locked into what you had to do, what you had to bring every game, every practice in order for all of us to be successful. So we had a team meeting, and we kind of talked about it, and we all talked about what our roles are, and everyone has a pretty good idea. So it was just like, all right, now there has to be a shift in everyone's mentality as to what you're going to do individually to help the team win, whether it's in practice every day, in games, and then I think we'll see all of the dominoes fall, into place. So I think that's kind of what's been happening for us these past few games, and it's showing.
Are those difficult conversations to have?
They are. They're difficult for me. Just being one of the leaders, I think it's difficult because it's always hard being put in that position just because you have friends on the team and you don't want to overstep, but it's like you also are trying to get their best. So I think you kind of have to put that aside, and I think we all did in those team meetings, and we just got really vulnerable with each other, and we're like what we need from each other, what we expect from each other, what our goals are as a group, and just really connecting in that way and really figuring out what the end goal is here and what we all want together, and are we all willing to go the extra mile, do the extra work to get there and to help each other get there. And if that's the case, then we all need to lock in. There's really no going back from there.
2 great home wins here recently, the win over Notre Dame, the win over NC State. The defense was really stout in both of those games. What has improved so much defensively right now?
I think just our activity. I think, before we were kind of just statues and I think it's just also defensively, it's just a will. I think that, that, like I said, in that little stretch that we had, I don't think it mattered as much as it should have to us. And, obviously coming from last year, we were a really great defensive team, and we've only lost one player. So it's like there's no reason why it shouldn't, we shouldn't have that much of a drop off. It's now, it just has to matter more. And that was a part of our conversation as well. But I think so really in practice, we just have really worked on our activity and being active and more ball engagement and really focusing on rebounding. We had gotten out rebounded in a few games straight in the beginning of the season as well. So I think that just really focusing on that side more and knowing that that'll contribute to our offense.
Carolina in the game against State this past weekend, sold out crowd in Carmichael. You could almost feel the energy through the TV screen watching at home. What does that do for you guys? Those crowds have been getting bigger and bigger here the last several years, but to have a crowd like that, what does that do for you?
Yeah, it means so much because it's like, especially my group, my junior class, it's like we're looking at that and we're like, this is what we built. Like, this is ours. Like, we built this from the year we got here. And I think that's why it's a little more special, just because, I think Carolina women's basketball had a bit of a drop-off. So when we got here, that was all of our goal, was to bring it back to the national map and just get us back to, the championship talk and ACC title talk and things like that. So I think that we're doing that, and just seeing the crowd grow more and more each game and supporting us. To have our first sellout, I think was like very memorable and something we'll never forget. But just knowing that that's something that we planned on doing when we got here, and now we're seeing it all being built and all forming into what we kind of want it to be, it just makes it even more special.
You are someone who has been very successful on the court, also in the classroom, also off the court doing some other things. Why is Carolina a place that enables folks like Deja Kelly to be so successful in so many different ways?
Yeah, Carolina is very just marketable. I think they do a really great job of marketing their athletes, their students. And I think just, it's just Carolina's always been on the national stage. So I think everyone knows about Carolina, knows about Carolina athletics, and it's just a winning school. When you hear Carolina, you think of national championships. So I think that definitely plays a role into my off-the-court success because, obviously we have to be successful for people to talk about you and for you to get kind of noticed. And I think that that's what's happened within the past 2 years for me. So I think that that's just brought a lot of the off-the-court success, deals, things like that, notoriety.
A couple of home games coming up this week. Duke on Thursday, Georgia Tech on Sunday. What's important in your mind for a couple of big ACC wins, hopefully here over the next couple of days?
Yeah, kind of just staying the course, and kind of doing what we've been doing these past few games, just staying locked into what we need to do, to the game plan, to our individual roles, what we need to bring. And I think defensively is just going to be our biggest key. I think that's something that we've really focused on and something that we need to continue to focus on, because that'll lead, we like to play fast as well. So once we get our stops and rebounds, we can push and go and kind of play how we like to play. So I think that'll be huge for these next 2 games. I think Duke is definitely a different team than they were last year, even having the same players. So just really locking into, I think worry more so about what we need to do best, and I think that we'll be fine.
All right, how'd we do, interviewers?
That's great.
I mean, I was a lot better than Adam, let's be honest, right?
I'm the only one who asked the question that she said was good.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yes.
true. So we've set the bar at least medium high.
I think I've set the bar pretty high.
Okay, that's good. We know somebody who sets the bar really high on the court for the Tar Heels. That's Deja Kelly. Deja, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.